Hello everybody, this is Deviation, and we are casting Game 4 of the finals of the Chofly Invitational between HuK and TTOne. HuK actually taking that Game 3 really easily versus TTOne, and the current score is 2-1 in favor of HuK. So let's see in this PvP matchup who's going to come up on top.
Yeah, that is right. Last game was really smart play by HuK. TT1 decided to go Phoenix in fear of another Colossus push by HuK, and that did not happen, so he was left saying, what the F, basically, and being screwed over, and that's basically why he lost that game. And if you look in the 12 o'clock position, sorry we didn't say this earlier, but in the 12 o'clock position is the blue Protoss is HuK, and in the 3 or 2 o'clock position is the red Protoss is TT1. Both these players, as you all know, are very good.
Yep, and this is actually TT1's map choice. He chose to go Scrap Station, which is a little bit of a weird choice, considering he could have chosen either Kulos Ravine or Steps of War, but he chose to go Scrap Station. And this map is known to bring in some weird strats, weird builds from some players. So HuK bringing that probe once again, and he's basically harassing the pylon. So annoying, HuK. This is what he's known for, pretty much. It even says so on his Wikipedia page. I mean, I went to check that later, and it says, oh, HuK is known for his harass with his early worker.
Yeah, that worker is just a bitch. I mean, sorry if you guys get offended, but I mean, it just keeps staying there and harassing and just be like la 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 la. I'm just gonna annoy you just to be a bitch.
Yeah, and TT1 is basically gonna retort with more of the same. He's just gonna copy what HuK is doing and harass all those the pylon. He's retreating, going back in, just jabbing a couple of shots with that particle beam, then going back and going back in.
These two probes are fighting out a little probe action. And it looks like HuK won that battle.
Yeah,
so it looks
TT1
like
lost a probe here. And HuK knows this. He's like, oh man, I just killed a probe. I'm jetting out of here. So, in Game 3, when TT1 basically killed one of HuK's probes, HuK went like, oh, GG, just as a joke, because he had lost his probe and he knew TT1 had the advantage now, but I guess this is Game 4, serious business, so TT1 is not pulling out some jokes like that. He's not going to go, oh man, you killed my probe. He's concentrated in the game, and that's the way it should be.
Yeah, that is right, and I'm really interested to see what goes on in this game, whether or not any of them tries to cheese each other, but so far, looks like no cheese going down, both pretty standard. If you got to look at the income tab real quick, look at the harvesters, they're very close. Just looks like HuK is slightly ahead with just one probe, and that's barely anything in my opinion. But yeah, the resources are pretty close too, and it does look like HuK throw down a robotics facility right now. So maybe some immortals, probably, or an early observer.
Maybe he's gonna go straight to Colossus like he did in game 2. So HuK getting a stalker out and is actually going to take care of that probe. So that's 2 probes lost now for TT1. TT1 coming in though, and he has a Zealot and a stalker versus a single stalker. So that stalker is like, oh, this is too much for me. I'm just going to get out of here. And both players are going to retreat now.
And it looks like TT1 is doing the exact opposite as, well, not the exact opposite, but pretty much the opposite of HuK. He is getting 4 gateways instead of teching, and he's probably, I assume he's going to warp gate these, and yes he is, he's warp getting these right now, and he looks like he's going to do some early push. That's usually what happens when a Protoss 4 gates, and it does look like HuK is going to go for those Colossus again. Here comes the robotics bay, and look, he might, let's see what happens.
Yeah, but if TT1 does a nice timing attack and basically just, he's actually chrono boosting his warp gate, and if he can basically do another volley of warp-ins with the pylon down here, or he's actually warping in another pylon up here, he's going to be able to overwhelm HuK with the 4 warp gate push. And this is pretty much a mirror of what happened in Game 3, where, well, it's not actually a mirror, but, Wow, a lot of action going on here. Sorry, guys. What I was going to say is TT1 went for Stargate, and HuK went for 4 Warp Gate, and it basically overwhelmed him. This time, HuK is trying to tech straight to Colossus, but TT1 is having the 4 Warp Gate, and he's just waltzing in here. I think, like, HuK is in a huge trouble here. He's pulling all his probes, but that's just so many stalkers. There's pretty much nothing HuK can do. He's basically using all his probes to try to defend his base. And this Colossus is gonna come out, and he might be able to stop this. This Colossus is actually doing a lot of damage. HuK warping in 2 stalkers. He might be able to stop this, but HuK lost a lot of probes in the process.
Yeah, if you look at the income tab right now, TT1 is at 27 harvesters, and HuK has only 12, and he only has 1 Colossus right now, and TT1 is just going to constantly keep warping in units right now. I think HuK is in a very bad situation. It's very exciting to see this, very evenly matched players that are so good that, I don't know, I'm just getting excited. I don't know if you are, but it's pretty intense.
It's pretty similar what happened in game 2 when HuK went for straight to Colossus. He actually had an expansion, though. He had an expansion, and TT1 failed to take advantage of the fact that HuK was slow on his expansion, and he teched straight to Colossus. And basically, since TT1 didn't keep the pressure up, HuK was able to build a critical amount of Colossus and basically just win. So I think he's wary. He knows that right now. He's trying to keep the pressure up. HuK does not have enough money to make another Colossus, so that's a lot of stalkers going in. But nice force fields from HuK, and he's going in the back, microing his Colossus in the back, and he's basically shooting down these guys. But that's a lot of units from TT1, and I think TT1's probably gonna take this because HuK does not have a lot of money. He's low on harvesters because he had to use them to defend, and not enough energy on those sentries. And yeah, HuK just GG's out. So this was game 4. They are now tied 2-2, and let's move on to game 5.